Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you all? Much happier now, right? Yeah. Yes, right. I know. It's been a long, hot summer. Long, hot haul. Yes, it has been a long, hot haul. And here we are. Windows open, door open, everything. Yeah. Hey, Nina. Good. Well, welcome. I'll let you know again at the end of class, but there's no yoga next week. And then we're back, and there's no interruptions after that, as far as I know. So, no yoga next week. Right. Yeah, and I'll remind you again at the end unless I forget. So you remind me to remind you, because you'll be gone for 2 months. Wow, good for you. a, a cross-country road trip for the 50th anniversary. She'll be gone 2 months. That's fabulous. So send us pictures, right? Joanne will have them. Okay, yeah. Let us know you'll be like, where's Waldo, right? Where are you? Where is she in the U.S.? Oh, good. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, when do you leave? Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Cross country. She's going everywhere. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, see, yeah, you're going to have all kinds of orders when you leave here. Well, the rest of us who are not going cross country will be here, like starting in 2 weeks, and then, like I say, no interruptions. So September, October. Well, because we never know, right? So everything that's within my control says I'll be here. So hopefully you will be. No, no, not not for a while. Not for a while. Just taking it easy. Yes, taking it easy. All right. So speaking of taking it easy, let's do a little breathing. So come right on up to the front edge of your chair and have your feet underneath your knees. And check out where your shoulders are. Are they forward of your pelvis? See if you can bring them back a little bit. Maybe notice if you've got more weight in one side than the other, if you're sitting a little more heavily on one side than the other. See if you can just kind of even that up a little bit. And then notice your head and your neck. So is your chin lifted up toward the ceiling? Can you just kind of drop your chin down a little bit and maybe pull it back like you're trying to create a little double chin there? And then let your neck muscles relax and imagine your head is like a water balloon just kind of sitting right on top of your shoulders. So your shoulders are in line with your hips and your head is in line with your shoulders and your arms are relaxed, your hands are relaxed, your jaw, your face. Let go of all the tension that you might be holding there. And if you haven't already closed your eyes, I'll invite you to do that now. This just helps to draw your attention inside. And just notice what you hear. Notice the sounds around you, the sounds in the room, and the sounds outside the room that are coming to us through maybe our open door or all the little angel work that's going on in the kitchen to help feed people. And then notice what you can see on the inside of your eyelids. And so some people might notice images, some people might notice colors, or maybe it's just a brightness or a darkness. And then turn your attention to what you can take in through your nose. So what do you smell? Can you smell fresh air coming in through the open windows and the open door here? And of course, that distinct smell of the senior center, right? Every building, every place has its own unique kind of smell. And then taking that a little bit further, begin to deepen your breathing so that as you inhale, if you're getting that nice clean air smell, imagine taking that nice clean air all the way down into the bottoms of your lungs. And as you exhale, let go of any stale air that might be left in your lungs. So you might envision your lungs are like sponges. When you exhale, it's like wringing out the sponge. It's like squeezing out all the water that's in the sponge. And when you inhale, it's like using that sponge to just sop up every bit of liquid that's around. So breathing in and breathing out, envisioning your lungs like sponges. And let the breath get longer, slower, and deeper with each inhalation and exhalation. Let your body relax around the breathing so that any movement that you feel in your body is a result of your breath. And notice where you feel that movement. Perhaps in your belly or your waist, perhaps in your ribs or your chest. Maybe it's mostly the front of the body or the sides or the back. And with every breath in, can you feel your spine getting longer and taller? And with every breath out, your spine gets more relaxed. So even though there's more length in your spine, there's no rigidity in your spine. So breathing in deeply into your belly, the spine gets longer and taller. Breathing out as you pull your navel gently toward your spine, the spine gets a little bit more at ease. Long, slow, deep breaths in and out help to calm the nervous system, help to oxygenate all parts of your body. So those breaths that you're taking in are sending oxygen all the way from your head to your toes. Every cell, every part of your body is getting a little hit of oxygen. And every breath out is taking away carbon dioxide from all of those cells as well. So can you visualize this exchange happening as you're breathing deeply in and out? Imagine you're inside your body, you're visually inside your body. And you can see all the cells right down into your toes, taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Let's take just a couple more of these full deep breaths, really visualizing, if you can, that exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in your body through your lungs, through your bloodstream, into all of your veins, your arteries, your capillaries. Take in one final full deep breath. Let it be as full and deep as you can take in. When you get to the top of that inhalation, see if you can take in even more. And then let it out with a sigh. And let your eyes gently open. And we'll roll the shoulders around a little bit here. So we're getting some movement here in the shoulders. Notice if it's noisy. crackly, crunchy, little popping noises can happen as well. And then whatever direction you're rolling, can you go the other way? And it might feel a little weird, a little strange to go the opposite way. Okay, and then relax your shoulders. Take your right shoulder and roll that in your favorite direction. And then relax that and take your left shoulder, roll that in your favorite direction. And as you continue to roll your left shoulder in your favorite direction, roll your right shoulder in your second favorite direction. So it should feel like your body is like zigging and zagging in some strange way. And then reverse that. So go the other way. It's nice to know that your shoulders can work independently, right? And then take both shoulders way up to your ears, as if you could block your ears with your shoulders. Keep breathing. And then we're going to drop the shoulders all at once. So, and then squeeze them up toward your ears like you could block your ears with your shoulders. Keep breathing in and out. Try not to hold your breath while we're doing this. And then all at once, you're just going to let go. And one more time. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep breathing in and out. Get a little higher with those shoulders. I know you can get up there. And then all at once, just let it all go. Let your arms hang off, kind of shake them out a little bit. And now reach with your right fingertips and your left fingertips toward the floor, like you could touch the floor. And at the same time that you're reaching your fingertips down toward the floor, I want you to imagine a spot right here on the top of your head, and it's moving up toward the ceiling. So your spine is getting taller, and your fingers are reaching down a little bit more. So it's like you're growing your arms. Growing your arms. Good. Keep reaching down with your fingers. Keep lengthening through your spine. Keep breathing in and out. So try not to hold your breath or make your breath any more shallow. Good. And then keeping this feeling of length in your body, in your spine, and in your arms, take your arms out to the sides. Keep reaching out through your fingers as if you could touch the right wall and the left wall in this room. So let those right fingers get longer. Let the left fingers get longer. Don't forget the spine is still nice and tall, so you don't want to be rounding through your back. As a matter of fact, let's turn the palms up and draw your shoulder blades together. So as you draw your shoulder blades together, your chest will come forward a little bit. Keep breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to go way up overhead if you can. So if you can't get your arms way up overhead, just do the best you can. If it's out here or out here, that's okay. Reach through your fingers. So your fingers are making your arms get a little bit longer. And at the same time that you're reaching out through your fingers, relax your neck and your collarbones. And imagine now your tailbone. You all know where your tailbone is. Your tailbone is reaching down toward the ground. So your fingers are reaching up. Your tailbone is reaching down. You're breathing in and breathing out. If you've got one arm that goes up and one that doesn't, that's okay. Again, if they're out to the sides or even down here, that's okay as well. So whatever feels like the most length without pain in your body. Can you take 2 more breaths as you reach up through your fingers, reach down through your tailbone, and out through the crown of your head? So we're doing all of these things all at once. And then very slowly begin to float your arms out to the sides. When they get to about shoulder height, you're going to turn your palms down. And let your arms continue to come down as you breathe in and out. When your arms get way down, close your eyes and let your hands just kind of hang down as if they could reach the floor. So again, just closing your eyes, go inside the feeling in your body. Notice if your breathing has changed a little bit, if the length of your arms feels a little bit different, if there are different sensations in your arms and shoulders. Take a deep breath in and let it out with a sigh. Let your eyes open and then take your hands up, interlace your fingers, press your palms away, round through your upper back. Breathing in, breathing out, we're going to come all the way up overhead. Keep inhaling and exhaling as you release your hands. Bring your arms around behind you. Interlace your fingers back there. Bend your elbows a little bit and then lift your elbows as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Imagine like butterfly wings back there, right? So you're trying to close those butterfly wings. And make sure you're not doing this with your chin. So you want to have your spine nice and tall. Remember, your head is like a water balloon on top of your shoulders. And then we're going to release the hands, come around to the front, switch the orientation, right? So you've got the other thumb in front and then press the palms away. Coming up overhead, you're breathing in and breathing out. We're just going to go through this little flow a little bit at a time. Breathing in and out, interlacing fingers, little butterfly wings there. Breathe in, breathe out. Try not to be leaning forward and then releasing, coming back to your normal way. Breathing in and out, pressing away. Bring your chin to your chest and then up overhead. Lift through your spine. Arms come out, around, down, and behind, interlacing little butterfly wings back there, squeezing those shoulder blades together, releasing. This is for the last time. Now we're going to interlace the opposite way. Press the palms away. Arms up overhead. Releasing out to the sides. Coming all the way back around behind. Interlace again. Elbows lifted. Shoulder blades squeezing. Breathing in, breathing out. Head is relaxed. And then release and bring the arms around to the front. Roll your shoulders a couple times. Great. And then let's move the fingers a little bit. So we just interlace them. They might have a little bit of a stretch more. And then let's just take the right fingers and pull back a little bit. And then we're going to press down. So pulling back and pressing down. Breathing in and breathing out. You can straighten your elbow or not. Completely up to you. We're just going back and forth a little bit. This is mostly for the wrist and the hand and the fingers. A lot of us have tightness in the hands and we're not aware of it. And then let's switch. So we'll go to the left side, do the same thing, right? So again, just do the best you can. Maybe one hand needs a little more attention than the other. Maybe one hand has more mobility than the other. So we all have a little arthritis. Everyone here is over 40, right? If you're over 40, you got arthritis, I guarantee. I don't need an MD to tell you that. Keep breathing in and breathing out. Good. All right, and then let's just kind of shake that out a little bit. Great. Let your hands rest on your lap. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a couple of breaths in and out and just notice what your hands and fingers feel like, what your wrists and arms and elbows and shoulders feel like, your chest and your upper back. Deep breath in and let it out with a sigh. Okay, so take your chin now and bring it right to the little notch between your collarbones. So you got to kind of bring the chin down and then back a little bit. So it's like you're trying to fit your chin right in that little notch. As we hold here, we're going to breathe in and out. And as you try to get your chin into that notch, I want you to focus on releasing the tension in the back of your neck up into the back of your head. And then relax your chin, bring it up slightly higher than parallel to the floor. So don't like crane your neck way back, but maybe like, I don't know, maybe 30 degrees. And then we're just going to go down toward the collarbone, so get into that notch, and then up to about that 30-degree place. And as you're doing this, notice your spine. Are you kind of hunched in your spine? Can you keep your spine nice and tall and long? Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the jaw as you're doing this movement. Great, just a couple more. Excellent. And then come back to a neutral position with your head. Okay, so you're going to turn to the right. Get your chin right over that right shoulder if you can. And then come back through the center and see if you can get your chin right in line with that left shoulder. So we're going to go back and forth like this a few times. So again, thinking about your spine being nice and tall and long, your shoulders are in line with your hips, and your head is sitting right on top of your shoulders. So we're just going back and forth. Now you might hear some noise here, right? So oftentimes people will say, oh, I have like this crackly noise in my neck, this little crunchy noise in my neck. And that, as long as you don't have pain when you're doing that, you just kind of work slowly through it. And the next time you have your chin over your right shoulder, you're going to stay there and breathe. So imagine you could have your chin lined up with that right shoulder. Keeping the chin lined up with that right shoulder, begin to move your head up and down like you're saying yes. So just a little yes. Should be no pain here. No pain. So you might feel tightness. Maybe when you're when your chin is down, it feels tighter, or maybe when your chin is up, it feels tighter. Keep breathing. And then come back to the center. Bring your chin back through the center and over to the left. Again, we'll line up the chin with that left shoulder as best we can and do that yes movement on this side. So same thing, right? Going up and down. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing where you feel most tight and where you feel most loose. And then relaxing that movement and slowly coming back to center. Excellent. Take your right ear and bring it close to your right shoulder as you keep your face forward, and then come up, and we'll go over to the left. So just explore, really slow movement here. So as you move from side to side, do you notice a difference? So maybe you have a little more range in one direction than the other. And the next time you have your ear on your right shoulder, we're going to hold here. So with your ear on your shoulder, and again your nose is facing forward, you're going to take your right arm out to the side, up overhead, and place your hand on the left side of your head, kind of near your ear if you can get it there. And try not to be turning your head up this way, right? So we want to have the face forward or even a little bit down. And then what we're going to do is let the weight of this right arm provide some traction. So you're not pulling with your arm, but you're relaxing that right arm and letting the weight of it pull your head over. So as you're holding your head here, you're breathing in and breathing out. And I'm going to ask you now to press your head into your hand and your hand into your head in equal measure so that your head doesn't move. It's like you're trying to push this way to lift your head, but your hand is preventing that. So press your head into your hand and your hand into your head. Keep breathing in and breathing out. And then relax the pressing, but keep your hand where it is. Let the weight of your arm give you a little bit more traction in the neck. Notice if you feel something more here through the neck, and it can be anywhere from the side of your head all the way down into your shoulder and maybe even into your upper arm. And again, we're going to press the head into the hand and the hand into the head, so in equal measure so that your head doesn't lift up, but that's what you're trying to do here. Breathing in and breathing out. And then relax the pressing and keep the hand where it is. Just allowing the arm to provide the weight there to traction the neck. Now keep your ear on your shoulder. Release your right hand. Let it come down to your lap. So we still have the right ear on the shoulder. Breathing in and breathing out. Very slowly raise your head back up. Take a moment here in this center position and notice if the left side of your neck feels longer than the right side. Or if your left shoulder feels lower than the right side. If your left arm feels different. And now take your left ear to your left shoulder. So again, try not to be turning your head up or down too much. It's pretty much facing forward. We're going to take that left arm, sweep it out to the side, up overhead. Place the hand right near that right ear. And again, relaxing this left arm so that you're just getting a gentle traction with the weight of the arm. Breathing in and breathing out. Engage the muscles in the right side of your neck, so you're pressing your head into your hand, and your hand is pressing into your head, and you're trying to overpower. One is trying to overpower the other, but it's an even match, right? It's an equal match, so there's no movement happening. And then relax all of that. Keep letting the weight of the arm provide that traction, breathing in and breathing out. Nice, slow, steady breaths. Once again, pressing the head into the hand and the hand into the head. Inhaling and exhaling. So this is called a contract and relax kind of stretch. This helps the muscles remember that they have a little more length than we think they do. And then relax the pressing and let the weight of the hand, the weight of the arm provide that traction. Now keep your ear on your shoulder, release that left hand, let it come down to your lap. Just kind of hang out here for a moment. And then slowly bring your head back up to center. So take a moment now and notice right side and left side. And we're going to go through that range of movement really slowly, but again in a little bit of a flow. So take a deep breath in and lengthen through your spine. And then as you exhale, bring your chin into the notch between your collarbones. As you slowly inhale, bring your chin up, no more than 30 degrees. As you exhale, come back to center. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, turn and look out over the right shoulder. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale as you turn and look out over your left shoulder. As you inhale, slowly come back to center. As you exhale, take your right ear to your right shoulder. As you inhale, slowly come back up. As you exhale, left ear to left shoulder. So we're going to go through that whole thing one more time, bringing the head back up to center. With your next exhalation, you're going to bring your chin to the notch between your collarbones. As you inhale, bring the chin up. Again, no more than like 30 degrees. Exhale, come back to center. Get your spine lined up here. And with your next inhale, turn and look out over your right shoulder. As you exhale, you're going to come back to center. Inhale, look out over the left shoulder. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, right ear to the right shoulder. Exhale, back to center. And inhale, left ear to left shoulder. And then back to center. Good. Let's roll those shoulders forward, up, back, and down a couple of times. Great. We're going to work our way down the spine a little bit here. So bring your feet a little wider than your hips. And we're going to focus on the shoulder blades. So right between the shoulder blades in the back, we're going to take the arms forward and reach forward and round through your upper back. I'm going to just turn sideways a little bit. So here I am sitting upright. I'm going to round through the upper back. And then we're going to pull the arms back and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we're arching the upper back. So it's right between the shoulder blades. Breathing in as we come back and breathing out as we come forward. Right? So most of us will tend to use the neck and the low back because we have more inherent mobility in those parts of the spine. So if you find yourself doing this, like this big movement, see if you can isolate it to just that space between the shoulder blades. So it's the thoracic spine. Your thoracic spine is just a fancy way to say your the spine that's in on your rib cage, right? So that's where your ribs click in. Okay, so one more time, forward and back. Good. And then come back to kind of that neutral place. Okay, so we've done a little bit of work in that thoracic spine. Let's take the right arm over to the left and pull across the body. So that's lengthening the muscles here in this part of the thoracic spine. Right, so we're just going to pull that arm over, and then we're going to release that arm, bring it around behind you, and pull it over to the left. Now, as we pull to the left, you can see that's getting shorter in there. So we're approximating the muscles in that thoracic spine. So we have to have movement in both directions. We often think, oh, we just have to stretch, and you can stretch too much. You actually have to have both. You have to approximate the muscles, and then you have to stretch the muscles. And then we're going to release that. We're going to take the left arm, bring it over to the right side. So now we're stretching the muscles between the shoulder blade and the spine here on the left. By the way, the muscles that we're focusing on, the muscles between your spine and your shoulder blade, are called your rhomboid muscles. Rhomboid. Anybody remember what a rhomboid is from school? You don't know? It's a four-sided figure, right? So a rectangle is a rhomboid, a square is a rhomboid. We get some teachers in the room, right? Yeah. And then we're going to go around behind you. Yes, you have muscles that are shaped like, there's sort of rectangles back there. So they're sort of shaped like rectangles. So we're bringing this over, so we're making that rectangle a little skinnier back there, right? Approximating the sides, so they're getting a little bit skinnier. And then releasing that. Good. Didn't know this was going to be a math and yoga class. So now we're going to go down to the lower part of the spine, so where the rib cage ends. So actually, let's find out where the rib cage ends. So take your hands, not your fingertips. You want to use the pads of your fingers, so I don't want anybody digging in. So find your ribs there, and then very gently go down to the bottom of your rib cage. You'll feel it. You feel the ribs stop, and then it gets soft, right? So that's right. So the part of the spine that we're going to be moving now is below here. So that's where my ribs end, is right there. So I'm going to be moving like this little part of the spine right in here. Okay, so now that you know where that is, you're going to tilt your hips forward and kind of arch your back. And then you're going to roll your hips backward, pull your belly in, and round through that part. So if you can't remember where it is, take your hands back to your ribs. Turn this way, right? So we can see that we're arching and then rounding through that part. And once again, we might recruit other parts. If we don't have a lot of mobility here, this is what I might do, right? So I'm getting the whole back, but what I really want to do is try and isolate that movement in there. It might not be a big movement for a lot of folks, especially if you've got some low back issues, right? So you might be feeling like, oh, I can go just a little bit here and then that's it. Absolutely fine. Mobility. When we injure ourselves, we tend to immobilize the area, and nothing suffers more than the back. Because when we immobilize the back, we lose that mobility, right? So it's always good to test. Everybody got that? Okay. And then just kind of come back to your normal, neutral, whatever your normal neutral is. Think for a moment of your shoulders being in line with your hips and your head kind of on top of all of that. Close your eyes for a moment, and I just want you to imagine you're traveling inside your body, and you can see your spine now. So we've done some movement for the neck and the head, and that's your cervical spine. Your cervical spine is your neck. It goes from a little bit inside the back of your head and down to the tops of your shoulders where your ribs just start to click in. So that's the cervical spine. And then we go to the thoracic spine. So again, you're inside your body, and it's like you're traveling down and you're looking at your spine from inside. And your thoracic spine is the part of your spine where all your ribs click in. So we go all the way down to the lowest part where that last rib clicks in, the floating rib clicks in. Well, there's two of them, one on each side. And then below that is your lumbar spine. Again, this is a part of your spine that has a little more mobility naturally, just because you don't have any bones kind of coming out the sides. And then below that, we didn't talk about this yet, but imagine you're still inside your body. You're looking from your lumbar spine, where we just did that nice little movement, and your lumbar spine sits on top of something called your sacrum. And your sacrum is this it's like I think of it like a little triangle bone, right? So the triangle, the point is, the longest part is pointing down. And your spine sits right on top of your sacrum. Your sacrum used to be more mobile, long time ago. And it fused. All those 6 bones there fused. And then right below your sacrum is your tailbone. And your tailbone, in case you didn't know, your tailbone actually curves forward. So if you're looking at it from inside your body, you can see your sacrum, and then you see your tailbone, a little teeny hook comes forward. let your eyes open. All right. Did y'all get a good look at your spine while you're in there? It's looking good? Okay, good, no problems. All right, so we're going to move now from the spine. We're going to get down into the lower part of the body as well, because mobility is important in all aspects of the body. And instead of starting at the hips and continuing, we're going to start at the feet and kind of work our way up. So look down at your feet. And notice if you immediately have some judgment about your feet, right? Yep. I hear so many people say bad things about their feet. And this is your foundation, guys. So it's the most important contact you have with the earth, right? Unless you're a hand walker, in which case, if you do that, then your hands are the most important. But for the rest of us, the feet are the most important. So look, lift all your toes up and just take stock. Do they all lift up? Maybe they don't all lift up. Are they separate from each other? Can you spread them out? Can you get the little toe away from its next toe? Can you get the big toe away from its next toe? And then just give them a little wiggle. So just kind of lower them and lift them a little bit. And notice the tops of your feet when you're doing this. Can you see the little tendons in the tops of your feet as you're lifting and lowering? Yeah, kind of cool, huh? Okay, and now press your toes down really hard into the floor. Press, press, press. And then relax. And press your toes down, really press, and relax. A couple more times. Try and breathe while you're doing this. So we're really pressing hard and relaxing, and pressing hard and relaxing. Good. Okay. So now we're going to take relax the toes a little bit here. We're going to take the big toes and just lift them up and let all the other toes stay down. And then lower them down. So we're just going to lift and lower the big toes. So no lifting and lowering your toes with your knees. In other words, not that, right? So you want to keep your knees stable. You lift and lower those toes. Keep breathing. If you're forgotten to breathe, this would be a good time to start. Breathing helps. It seems counterintuitive, right? Because we always think, well, if I'm concentrating, I need to hold my breath. But the reality is breathing really helps with this because breathing relaxes your nervous system. Nothing makes a task harder to do than being really nervous about it, right? You get all tense everywhere. If you want to do a task easily, you have to be relaxed. The best way to start that relaxation process is to breathe. Okay. And then let your big toes kind of rest there, and we're going to lift all the little toes and lower. So just lift and lower. So I know some of you do this on a regular basis, right? Anybody noticing a difference? Are you noticing more mobility in your feet? Awesome. Yeah. It really does work. I talk about this all the time. The fact that we're in shoes a majority of the time, we're conditioning our feet to not work independently. So it takes practice and it takes commitment to do this. I often tell people, they say, oh, well, I wear my good shoes. So relax your feet a little bit here. So they say, oh, I always wear my sneakers when I'm doing this, or I'm always wearing good shoes. And my answer is get out of your shoes as much as you possibly can. When you come into your house, put a chair near the door. Sit down on the chair and take your shoes off so that when you're in your home, you're not wearing shoes. Try to get as much mobility into your feet as you can. It's going to help with your balance. It's going to help with your knee problems. It's going to help with your hip problems. May even help with your neck problems because everything translates up, right? So if your feet are rigid, it's going to be every time you take a step, you're going to get that vibration that comes up through the body in a really challenging way. If your feet are a little more supple and you're walking so that when you strike your heel and you roll off your toes, when you're walking in that way, you get less of that kind of shock that comes up through your body and everything else works independently. Okay, so let's do this. Let's raise all the toes. You guys know this by now, right? We're going to take the big toes down and then lift. So let all the other toes stay up. We're just lowering and lifting the big toes. Now, if you've got a bunion or you've got, your toe crosses over, this might be really challenging to do. But believe it or not, this is one of the exercises you should be doing if you have that condition because we want to get some more mobility in there. And then raise the big toes and lower all the little toes and lift. So lift and lower all the little toes, keep the big toes lifted. Good. Okay. And then lift everybody up. Press your big toes down and your last toes down, but keep all the middle toes lifted. You can do it. Yeah, I'm seeing it happen out there. And then lift everybody up. Let's try that again. Big toes down, little toes down, but not those middle toes. If you're starting to get a little foot cramp, it's working. Lift them all up again. And one more time, big toes. Little toes, but not the middle toes. Good. And release that and take a breath, because I know you've been holding your breath. Yeah. Come up and down on your toes, so just exercise them that way a little bit. So if you were getting a little bit of a cramp or it felt like a little bit of stress in there, that's the muscles that create your arch starting to wake up again, right? So your arch is not so much a thing as a process. Your arch is a result of the muscles in the bottom of your foot that lift in a certain way. So if you've got fallen arches, it's the muscles in your feet that are not able to do their job. So an orthotic in your shoe might give you some relief, but it's not going to build any strength in your arches. The best way to do that, believe it or not, is this crazy little thing we do with our toes. We're actually building muscles. It's like weightlifting for the bottoms of your feet, right? We're building muscles in the bottom of the feet. So continue to wear your orthotics. Continue to wear what you need to be comfortable in your day, but then get your shoes off and do these kinds of exercises for your toes. It's very helpful. Okay, let's take that right leg extended out, and we're going to point and flex the foot. So now we're up into the ankle, because the muscles in your feet don't work all by themselves. They're connected to the rest of your body across your ankle, and they get into your lower leg and start to circle around here, right? So the toe bone is connected to the ear bone through a series of muscles, and then reverse direction. Good, and then bring that foot back down. We're going to go the other leg. So we're pointing and flexing. And you can do this, if your leg is just kind of not very strong today or feels like it needs a little extra support, you can do that with your heel on the floor, your foot on the floor, or you can tap heel and toe, or you can do it completely in the air and then circle around. Again, you can do that with the heel on the floor or off the floor, completely up to you. Breathing in and breathing out, reverse direction. Okay, and then bring that foot back down to the floor. So we've got the toes that we worked a little bit, the bottoms of the feet, the tops of the feet, the ankles, and the lower legs a bit. So now we're going to come up to the knee. So this is the next joint where the lower leg muscles cross over the knee and come into the upper leg, and the upper leg muscles cross over the knee and come into the lower leg. So this is how we're getting that connection from the little toe up to the ear. So starting with your right leg, if you want to have your hands right here, just to remind yourself of how tall your spine can be, pull your belly in a little bit so you provide a little bit of support for your back, and we're just going to bend and extend that right knee. And notice what your knee feels like this morning. Is it crabby? It is? Okay. Maybe yours is fine. Maybe yours is happy. Right? And how far back can you go? And how far forward can you go? Like when you extend your leg, can you really squeeze these thigh muscles here and give it a good little grip? And when you bring your heel under, can you try and get your heel like almost you're going to kick your bum under there? So do that a couple of times. Good. All right, and then we're just going to bring that foot down to the floor. Go right to the other side. So same thing. Use a little bit of your abs, a little bit of your core to keep yourself strong. Notice this side. Is this side crabby? Or maybe this side feels pretty good. If you've got hardware in your knee, you're going to be limited on the side that has the new hardware, especially if it's a fully replaced knee. So we have not made our replacements quite as efficient as the original parts, right? Because there are certain rules of mechanics that just don't apply. Okay, we're going to bring that foot back down to the floor. Excellent. And now we're going to take that right leg extended out, and we're coming up to the thigh now and up into the hip. So we're just going to lift and lower the heel nice and slow. All right, breathing in and breathing out. Now watch your spine, your posture, that you're sitting upright. So again, I like to have my hands here just to remind me. Now the next time that you lift, stay here, and we're going to rotate the whole leg in and out. In and out. One more time, in and out, and then lower the heel down. So we're going to do that little movement. We're going to come up, go in and out, and then lower. We're going to do that a few times. So when you're ready, so nice tall spine, belly is active, breath is smooth and flowing, nice and round. I haven't said this yet today, but the breath is round, so it goes in and out without interruption. So when you're ready, you're going to lift your heel. We're going to rotate the leg all the way from the hip and then lower the heel down. Good. And then lift the heel and rotate and lower the leg down. So let's do this like 2 more times, okay? So we're just rotating and lowering. So we're getting a little bit more movement in the hip. I think this is the last one. And then lower down. Good. Bend that knee, bring that foot in, extend the other one. We'll go right into the other side. So we're just going to start with the lifting and lowering, right? So just lifting and lowering, breathing in and out, noticing your posture, noticing if you're trying to hold your leg up with your shoulders or your jaw, like are your teeth clenched? Yeah, give a little space in there. Okay, and then the next time that you lift, we're going to do that in and out thing, just one time and down. So we're going to do 5 more on this side, right? I know that seems like more than on the other side, but I probably talked you through like 3 of them before we did it, before you even realized what you were doing. So where are we? Are we 3? 4? Really? Let's do 1 more for luck. 75. Yep. Okay. Good. So now we're going to scoot just a little bit over to the right side. So we've done some movement at the hip. So your hip has lots of different ways that it can move, right? So it can move in flexion. It can move in extension, which we haven't done here sitting on the chair. We've done some rotation of the leg bone in the socket there. And now we're going to do something called circumduction, where we bring the leg around, so we get that kind of rotational movement there. So just kind of holding on to the left side of your chair. Again, watch your posture, because this is really important. If we're tight in the hip and we're tight in the leg, this is the posture that we tend to do. It can really pull on the low back. So if the hand here doesn't work, let me just say this. If you would like, you can put your hand back here and lean back a little bit. That might provide the level of support that feels best for your back. So kind of explore where on that left side makes the most sense for you to have your hand. And then we're just going to take this right leg and just do this little circle, right? So some of you might be able to make a really big circle. I'm going to make a pretty small circle here, and just focus on your body relaxing into this movement. We're going to do like 5 of these and then rest, right? And then we'll just kind of rest. And notice what that circling felt like. And now we're going to go the opposite way. So whatever motion you did before, we're just going to go the opposite way. So just 5. Breathing in, breathing out. Could be tiny little circles, could be really big circles. When you've gotten to 5, just pause there for a moment. Okay. And now we're going to do a figure 8. So see if you can make a figure 8. And can you do 5? Can you do 5 eighths? Or 8 fives? If you're doing 5s, do 8 of them. So we're trying to get to 40. Yeah, it's more math, right? We're trying to get to 40. I don't care how you get there. You can do 10 4s if you want. Okay. And then bring that down. Scoot over to the left. Okay. So same thing here. Investigate. Maybe your back is saying, oh, I need a little more support. So Lean back a little bit. Just try and keep your spine nice and supported here, right? So belly muscles also support your spine. That's part of your core. So when your belly muscles are engaged, your spine doesn't have to kind of work. So we're just going to start with some very simple, easy, light, gentle rotations, just 5 of them. And you pick always which direction you want to go in, right? And when you get to 5, let's just kind of rest a little bit. Notice what you feel. And again, I'm just going to call attention for those of you who maybe have hip replacement, or if you have some issue with your hip, you want to kind of pay attention to that. It's going to operate differently than the other one. Even when you come in with original parts, one hip generally will operate a little different than the other. So let's go in the opposite direction. So again, just nice and easy, gentle, just 5. Breathing in, breathing out. Great. When you get to 5, you can just kind of rest for a moment. Okay. And then we're going to get to 40 on this side. So I don't care how you do it. I'm going to do 5/8. You can do whatever you like. So I'm going to start with my 8s. And that requires just a little more concentration, right? Because there's like that interesting movement that's happening there. Excellent. And then bring that foot down. Scoot right to the center of your chair. Let your hands rest on your lap and close your eyes for a moment. So your shoulders are in line with your hips. They're right on top. Your head is on top of your shoulders like a water balloon. Take some deep breaths in and out. And just check in with your toes and your feet, with your ankles and your legs, your knees, your thighs, and your hips. And then let your eyes open. Good. So take your right leg and cross it over your left. And if crossing at the knee is not available for you, you're just going to cross ankle on top of ankle. So we're going to do a little bit of strengthening for the hip area now. And that is going to include the muscles here in the inner thighs and the muscles in the outer part of the hip. So the first part is on the inner thighs. What we're going to do is just squeeze the legs together. So if you're crossed at the ankle, you're squeezing your knees together. And if you're crossed at your knees, you're going to be squeezing those inner thighs together, and what generally will happen is the outside of your right foot will get a little closer to the outside of your left leg. So we're just going to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. And keep breathing as you're doing this. So this is, again, this is like weightlifting for your inner thighs. And this is helping with your hips. Good. And the next time that you squeeze, you're going to hold here. So right now, we're strengthening the muscles in the inner thighs. That's helping a part of your hip. And at the same time, we're lengthening the muscles out here in the outer part of the hip, right? Because if the inside is working and contracting, the outside is lengthening a little bit. Breathing in and breathing out. That's sort of the principle behind stretching. When you stretch one thing, you're actually strengthening something else if you're doing it actively. And then relax that. Okay. And let's uncross that way, and we're going to cross the other way. So now left on top of right, ankle is fine, knee is fine. Again, we're going to be focusing on the inner thighs, so squeeze and release and breathe. So we're squeezing the inner thighs and then releasing. And you might even feel that up into the glutes, right? You might feel your bum muscles engaging here a little bit as well. And the next time you squeeze, we're going to stay here and breathe. Right? So squeeze those thighs together, really active, strong thigh muscles. Breathing in, breathing out. As we're squeezing the inner thigh muscles, we're getting a little bit of a stretch here in the outside of the hips. We're going to do a deeper stretch in just a moment. And then relax that. Good. Uncross. Okay, now take your right ankle on top of your left knee, right? So again, if you're not able to do that, you're going to have your ankle on your ankle, and this time instead of squeezing the thighs together, we're going to use the muscles here in the outer part of the hip to pull the knee down toward the floor. If you're crossed here, same thing. You're just pulling the knee away from the other one. So we're pulling that knee down toward the floor. You're not pushing with your hands, right? You're not leaning into that to get the knee down. You're up nice and straight, and then relax, right? So pull the knee down and then relax. So we're just going to do this a few times, pulling the knee down and relaxing. So you can feel the muscles out here working, hopefully. Yeah? Okay. And we're stretching right in through the groin and through those inner thigh muscles a little bit. Okay. Now, stay right where you are. Relax all the muscles, right? So we're just strengthening the muscles out here. We're going to give a little bit of a stretch now for these muscles out here. So bring your hands to your shin and imagine you're trying to bring your belly button onto your shin, not your chin down to your chest. So we're not rounding through the spine, right? We're keeping the spine nice and long. Come forward and then come back up. So we're just going to investigate this movement a little bit. So it's just a little bit of rocking. So keep your head above your shoulders. In other words, try not to lead with your head like that. You want to keep your head above your shoulders. The movement is happening from your hip. Now, as you come forward, you should be feeling a bit of a stretch through that right hip. Does that sound about right? Okay, good. So the next time you come forward and you get to a place that's, I'm going to say, uncomfortably comfortable. Does that make sense? No? How about tolerably uncomfortable? Does that make more sense? Yeah, okay. So stay in that tolerably uncomfortable place. And breathe. And another thing I like to do when I'm here with my hips, because there's so much movement there, is just create a little rocking from side to side. Because I notice I can get a little more space in my hip joint and a little more release of those tight muscles in my rear by doing this little rocking movement. Oh, and did I mention breathing? Kind of important to do that. Okay, and then slowly come back up. Good. Excellent. So let's uncross that. We're going to go to the other side. So ankle on top of knee or ankle on top of ankle. And we're going to start with the active movement first. So we're engaging the muscles here in the outside of this hip. Pull that knee down toward the floor and then relax. If you're doing it here, that's fine too, right? So whatever way works. Breathing in and breathing out. Now notice if you pull your knee down and your body does this, you're letting that happen in your low back. You want to keep your low back nice and straight and tall, right? So we want this all to happen here in the hip. The next time you pull the knee down toward the floor, we're just going to hold here. Keep breathing. Should be feeling it all in through that hip, yeah? Good. Good, good, good. Okay, and then relax everything. So we've still got the knee kind of crossed here, and now we're going to bring the navel toward that shin. So just kind of come forward and then come back up, right? So we just kind of investigate. The reason it's good to move in and out of a stretch like this a few times is just to see where we are on that edge, right? Because it would be really easy for me to go forward and not go far enough because I'm a little afraid to hurt myself. Or it might be really easy for me to go really far forward because I want you to see how good I can do this. So I'm going to go as far as I can, and yikes, I might hurt myself. This way, as I come forward and then come back, I say, oh, okay, I can't go as far as I thought I could. Or I can go a lot farther than I thought I could without pain. So the next time you come forward into that tolerably uncomfortable position, so little bit of discomfort here in the hip on the outside, maybe even up into the buttock is fine, maybe even down into the knee is fine. Again, not pain, never pain, right? So discomfort is very different. Pain is that thing, you recognize pain because it's a hard stop. Your body is saying, don't do this, whatever it is you're doing, don't do this anymore. discomfort is we don't do this very often and I'm not liking it very much. Okay, and then slowly press yourself all the way up. Whew, and let's uncross that leg. Bring your feet to the floor. Bring your hands to your knees or your thighs. Take a moment and just notice your hips now. So we did a whole lot of work for the hips. And then if you'd like to make yourself comfortable, if you want to sit back a little bit, we're just going to do a little meditation on the body here. So all the movement that we've been going through. So close your eyes once you're comfortable. Take some breaths in and out. And just do a scan of your body. So from your head, if you can remember back to the very beginning where we did some stretches for the shoulders, for the neck, for the arms, hands, wrists, fingers. And then noticing what your upper back feels like. Those, if you remember, the rhomboids, right? The rhomboids between your shoulder blades and your spine. So your two big rectangles up there. And all the movement that we did, all the concentration and focus that we did on that thoracic spine. And down into the lumbar spine, that lower part of your back where the rib cage ends, right above your hip bones. And down into your hips, your thighs, your knees. All the movement we did there, the lower legs, the ankles, the feet. Oh yes, those feet and toes. And your whole body from your toes all the way up to your ears. As you inhale and exhale, once again, going inside your body, imagine you're traveling inside your body and you can see what's happening. You can see the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide through your bloodstream. And that's happening throughout every single cell in your body. From your right little finger to your left knee to your right big toe, all the way up to your ear, to your eye. Every part of your body, with every inhalation and exhalation, every part of your body has the opportunity to participate in this exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. When you breathe deeply and slowly, when you've stretched the muscles, that exchange happens with more ease. Your body literally becomes more alive. Breathing in and breathing out, see if you can feel that renewed aliveness in your body. As you inhale and exhale, feel where you connect with the outside world through touch, where your hands are touching, where your feet are touching, through sound, the sounds outside of your body, the sounds in the room and outside the room, outside the building even. And through the smell of fresh air. All these ways that we interact with the world around us. And through the sense of vision, even with your eyes closed, there's a sense of lightness or color behind your eyelids that you're getting because it's daytime. It's light out. It's a very different experience at night when you close your eyes. Breathe in and out and experience the miracle of your body. And take your hands together just for a moment of appreciation for that miracle of your body. And if you'd like, you can maybe open your eyes and just express a little appreciation for all these other miracles in the room. Yeah. Great. Okay. So, no yoga next week, but I'll see you in 2, and we'll be on a continuous roll for a while. All right. Have a good rest of your day, you guys.